what are the key takeaways? What can publishers really get from analytics that could really help, say, monetize their business?
The game in most businesses, and people are waking up to the fact that the online video part of their organization does need to be a real business. It's all about resource allocation. People should read Warren Buffett. He's all about investing his money so that he gets the biggest bang for his buck. And that's really what you're doing when you make resource allocation decisions. Am I going to invest my money in this technology to increase the quality of my delivery of my content, or am I going to put the money into better content? And we really think we can help people make those decisions, but even within the world of content, you have to make resource allocation decisions. Am I going to produce more sports videos or more comedy videos or more cooking videos? And we definitely offer a lot of products that help people understand and break this down, not just knowing about the data by specific clips that were out there last week, because another thing we've learned is that the shelf life of a video clip online is pretty short. If it takes you a week to figure out what's happening, well, it's kind of history at that point. To really get value out of this stuff, you need to be able to use the analytics predictively. People talk frequently about the need to push higher and higher resolution, higher and higher bit rates out to their customers, to be as close to HD, whatever that means in the internet world, as they can be. But the question that remains unanswered is it worth it? Do you really get more viewer engagement to the extent that it drives monetization out of doing this? And we think that people haven't really gathered the data to understand that yet, so you have sort of this nuclear arms race, this constant escalation going on where the people down the block are broadcasting video in near HD format, so I better do it too. Problem with this constant escalation, as we learned during the Cold War, is it may lead to mutually assured destruction, and nobody wants that to happen. And the fact is, again, looking at our customers, there certainly is a correlation between engagement and bit rate when it's down in the lower reaches, because if you get to the level that it's not good enough, people will bail pretty quickly. But once you get to a level that's good enough, things really start to flatten out. And there's not a whole lot of extra credit you get for going beyond good enough. And what is good enough? Well, basically, it's kind of about if you're using the maximum capability of a typical DSL line, that seems to be good enough for most people. Above and beyond that, you're spending a lot of money on encoding, you're spending a lot of money on pushing more bits out through your CDN, and you're not really getting that much return from it. So one of the things we really encourage people to do is measure and understand this before you spend the money on whether it's an upgraded CDN service or a higher bitrate encoding that you're making available. Really understand the impact before you jump. And this kind of goes back to these whole resource allocation decisions, which is, well, over the last few weeks, comedy's been really holding people in and helping me to monetize. So I should maybe produce more comedy. Over the last few weeks, sports highlights clips have done okay, but no matter how long they are, people drop off after 2 minutes. So maybe I should save some money on my production resources and not be producing 3 and 4 minute and 5 minute sports highlights clips, but hold them all to 2 minutes. So this is another way that we think that the kind of thing we're doing is really of great value to people, especially again because we can go back to that big picture and say, well, not only did this engage people for 2 minutes rather than 3 minutes, but here's what the additional CDN costs would have been if they did hang around for the whole 3 minutes. Here's what you would save on encoding by cutting it off at 2 minutes. Here's how that correlated to additional advertising revenue and to profitability. Really we can produce a very detailed P&L, either slice it down or roll it up at the desired level, kind of like what Hyperion does for business in the rest of the world. We're sort of the Hyperion for digital media.